Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another Incursio the Gamer Dungeons & Dragons quick build video. Today we have with us the one and only Jia Mu. Now, spoilers ahead, if you have not played Canto 8 of Limbus Company, please come back another time. If you have already played or do not plan on playing, feel free to stay and check out this really complicated boss build. Now, of course, I will say this video is going to be longer than the rest, by a significant amount, because she has two phases. Just prefacing. Now, of course, before we go into the D&D build, let's talk about who she is. She is, of course, was the former hierarch of Hongyuan. And as well as that, she was the H-Corps Chief Executive Director and is the grandmother of Honglu, also known as Jia Baoyu, as well as Jia Xichen, who is now the current hierarch of Hongyuan, also known as H-Corps. In addition to this, she has a lot of connections with the Xiangren, which are known as the Elders, as well as the little worm here, which I pronounce as Anna worm, but it's Xianghuan worm. Now, of course, that is the official name. She also has a golden bow in her, but this is the boss fight. This is going to be a very complicated build. Let's check out her build. Now, armor class of 16 with bolus enhancements. You'll see why I set the AC so low, as well as hit points 426, walking speed 30, which increases to 60 during phase 2, distortion. Jamu is a medium monstrosity, lawful evil. Thank you to that one commenter who pointed out it's not chaotic evil, as she used the head with the rules and laws to pretty much destroy the Kong family. When Kong Chu, also known now as Jia Chu, is kind of coming back for revenge, trying to take over Hongyuan, and instead ceded his position to give to Honglu because he saw that his goals, his vision of a greater Hongyuan pretty much is just better. It's just good, and he can finally speak his truth. Now, for stats, if you're going on a budget, Dex, Con, Strength, Wisdom will be your high ones, Intelligence, Charisma, dump stats, but if not, here are the optimal stats. Speaking of which, let's talk about challenge rating, which is absolute bullshit. Me personally, I think this build is good for level 17 players, 14 if you have a lot of magic items, but 17 is a baseline. Me personally. I mean, just look at the damage. 23 right off the bat, and she can make 4 attacks per turn after the distortion 4th turn. 3 attacks per turn otherwise. Now, of course, this is going to be some really crazy stuff. She has Strength, Dex, Wisdom saving throw proficiencies, proficiency in Deception for skills, and expertise in History and Medicine. Boluses, am I right? Plus 22. She'll pass all of them. Resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks, and immune to poison damage. In addition, immune to blinded, charmed, deafened, exhausted, frightened, and poisoned. And senses, blind sight, dark vision, tremor sense for 30 feet, passive perception 26. I just like the number 26, guys. Additionally, languages, she speaks all of them. As a leader of Hongyuan, she must be able to cater to all of her citizens, or pretty much in this case, all of her test subjects. They do not mean a thing to her, and she just focuses on that boluses, the Heisho, and finding the next hierarch and passing on the worm. Now, let's talk traits. Legendary resistance, naturally, saving throws, succeed if she fails. Lineage of family hierarchs. Let's get into the real meat of the deal. Upon reaching 50% HP for the first time, applies to both phases, as she has two. One with pretty much the bolus enhancements, and the other one is a distortion. She gains advantage on all attacks for the turn. If an enemy is currently charmed or frightened by her, she gains double advantage on the first attack directly at that person. Now, of course, if there are 2 or more, she chooses 1 to have double advantage on. Additionally, Xianghuan Worm. It has assimilated itself into Jamu and has a health point of 10 and cannot be targeted unless with a called shot or a spell. It must make a saving throw at any point. It uses stats of Jamu. In addition, if it drops to 1 HP or below, it's reset to 10, but Jamu can only make 1 attack action and 1 reaction during her next turn, spending the rest of the time rejuvenating the worm with her own life force, not costing her any hit points, by the way. Now, Phase 1 and Phase 2. For Phase 1, Golden Bow Assimilation, Malattunement. A +2 bonus to all attack rolls and AC, which have already been calculated in. Xianghuan Worm, Inherited Will of Hongyuan. Thanks to the Xianghuan Worm, she automatically succeeds all Wisdom saving throws and advantage on Intelligence ones. And lastly, Forbidden Pill of Hongyuan. Now, she gains resistance to all non-magical attacks, immunity to all the conditions. In exchange, however, her base AC sets to 14. With Golden Bow Assimilation, this becomes 16, which is already calculated in. In addition, she gains the abilities that come with the completed Heixiang Bolus, which allow her to morph her body and use all the moves pretty much with this completed Heixiang Bolus. Heixiang, my bad. I'm a little tired. It's about 12 a.m. right now, and I have not found the time to record until now. Phase 2, Golden Bow Assimilation, Distortion. She, of course, adds that +2 bonus. In addition, she loses all traits and actions with Phase 1, but activates anything with Phase 2. This is really useful because most of them line up. In addition, she may now begin using legendary actions, which are good, and her size increases from medium to large. Of course, you're going to see a little more. Now, of course, she gains an AC of 20, the worm, the Xianghuang worm, as it is on top of Jamu's back. It can be targeted now, and it must make saving throws with her stats. In addition to this, it may take bonus actions in her place. Only one bonus action can be made per turn between the two of them, of course. If Meaningless Struggle was not used the last turn, of course, then you can make the bonus action, but if it was, then you cannot make it. You will see Meaningless Struggle in the future, do not worry. Now, lastly, Rotten Decay in the Husk of Gold and Jade. Jamu has her base AC increased to 19 now, and her strength stat is permanently 30, it cannot be decreased. And she maintains all former resistance immunities. However, in her distorted form, she is now the updated following abilities. Immune to poison and acid, resistance to non-magical damage from bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, and cold damage. Vulnerable to necrotic, radiant, and lightning. And immune to all the same things, but now as well as grappled. Anything pretty much her size or smaller cannot grapple her, and her movement speed is now 60 walking. She still has no flying speed, unfortunately. Let's talk about our actions now. We're finally here. Phase 1, completed Heixian Bolus. She either makes one completed Heixian Bolus attacks of each one in the order of Wei, Yin, Si, and Yo, basically goat, tiger, snake or serpent, and chicken or rooster. Or she can make one completed Heixian Bolus Hun attack. Now, Hun is the completed version of basically her bolus. Now, all of this is the completed one, but this is a combined attack. You'll see. So, if you're to choose the first option, first you have Wei. Plus 7 to hit, 10 feet of reach, 17 damage, bludgeoning. Transforms her arm into enlarging goat horns and just knocks the enemy. DC 15 strength or be knocked prone. Now, Bolus Yin. Naturally, it turns into the head of a white tiger, make 15 DC wisdom saving throw, or become frightened of Jamu, which is nice. So you have prone and frightened. It must be done in this order, by the way. Next is Si, which is the snake. Her arm transforms into the tail of a serpent, and they must make a Constitution 15 saving throw, or take the poison condition, taking 21 or 66 necrotic damage. Now, I could flavor this as poison damage, but I feel with the boluses, it's less so poison, more so necrotic, as they're kind of rotting away as she's eating them away. And lastly, the Yo branch. It is slashing damage 29, adding 10 to hit. It goes plus 7, plus 8, plus 9, plus 10, and the damage ramps up from 17, 19, 20, 29. She transforms her arm into the wings of a chicken with razor-sharp feathers. If she misses the attack, I'm using the Graze feature with Unbreakable Coins to pretty much do the flat 14 damage instead of dealing the 46 plus 14. Speaking of which, this is the only one that adds an extra modifier, and this one is pretty much the dexterity. This one is dexterity plus strength, I believe. I forgot if I did the calculations right, but we'll see. I think it's a plus 8 bonus. Now, of course, this one is very nice. All these 4, it is great, but you can also make the Hun attack. This one is alone. It is a completed combined version. All creatures in a 30-foot cone in front of her must make a dex saving throw DC 18 or be knocked prone and take 36 or 8d8 physical damage, which bypasses any single physical resistance or double resistance unless you are resistant to all of the above, bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing, as she launches serpents and feathers from one arm and a horned tiger horns of a goat from the other arm. Now, of course, on a successful save, they take 1 mandatory damage anyway, but evasion still takes into place. If you take 0 damage from dexterity saving throws, you do not take any damage. This can be, of course, DM discretion, and they are not knocked prone. I quite like this first phase a lot. She's very earthed down, kind of grounded, and very easy to manage. You either do one combination of attacks or this attack. Now, of course, let's talk about our bonus actions. We'll talk about phase 2 all at once. Bonus action, Mastery of the completed Heixian Bolus. Jamu may make an additional completed Heixian Bolus Wei or Yin attack. These are basically the goat and the tiger. She can either knock them prone or she can, the feared effect, frightened. And now, of course, reactions. Complete Heixian Bolus Yo, defense 1 and defense 2. She covers herself with chicken wings, both of her arms, plus 5 to her AC until the beginning of her next turn. Or she can cover herself with one wing, plus 2 bonus to her AC for one attack, and gain advantage on her next attack. It's either raw defense or gaining advantage on her next attack, and if we include all the bonuses, she can gain triple advantage on one attack, the first attack, but only with the, I believe, Wei attack. So it's plus 7 to hit, still really good. And of course, no legendary actions or mythical actions are available, so let's talk about second phase, which is mythical actions. Upon reaching 0 hit points for the first time, Jamu regains 1 hit point and is immune to all damage until the start of her next turn. Upon initiative reaching her, she heals her new maximum H pool, which is 774, and hit points are reset and status effects are all reset. Additionally, she gains the Phase 2 Golden Bow Assimilation Distortion trait, allowing her to also begin utilizing legendary actions. Now let's go over this again. Now, Distortion, she loses all the Phase 1 stuff, but gains all the Phase 2 things. She has all of this new stats, and you might want to keep track of this on a Google Docs. That is what I'm going to be doing. Let's talk about our actions now. Now, you cannot use these. For her actions, we have Muddled Heisho of the Corpse Palanquin. Palanquin, whatever you want to call it. I'm too tired for this. Now, upon distorting, not only does she attack in a different way, and her pattern changes, she gets stronger as the fight goes on. Initially, she may make a total of 3 attacks per turn, but starting from the 4th turn after Distortion, she may make 4 attacks per turn. Additionally, upon starting the 4th turn after Distortion, she may choose to make Offering of Extreme Extracted Immortality instead. Now, here are the normal attacks. She can make 3 of them per turn. Supernatural Strength, Chaos, and Spirits. Yin, Si, Yo, which is pretty much, I believe, the Tiger, the Serpent, and the Rooster. She pretty much, it's just physical damage in general, as it does touch upon bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing all at once. It is 23 base damage, 2d12 plus 10, and it adds 8 to hit. Now, of course, starting from the 4th turn in combat, if you hit an opponent once with this attack, you can choose to do so again without spending an attack action, meaning you can make 5 attack actions per turn with this one. Still, you can do nothing. Plus 8 to hit, pretty much the same, 23 damage, pretty much the same. However, of course, less range and is still one target, and she showers the enemy with curses and words of hatred, lowering the morale. They must make a wisdom saving throw DC 18 or be charmed by Jamu, falling into prone and dropping to their knees in despair. They may still make actions, but any rolls in general are made with disadvantage. So pretty much it is damage or lowering morale and lowering the damage incoming. The Hierarch without the Xiangren is nothing but an insect. Plus 9 to hit, 23 damage, bludgeoning. Slams her limbs upon the target and squashes them like a bug. Dexterity 13 or take an additional 13 points of bludgeoning damage. Be with this little girl, O Xiangren. Once a turn allowed. Plus 10 to hit and 44 force damage. It's pretty much a re-flavored Disintegrate, but you'll see. She wraps her arms around the target with the Si branch arms and begins assimilating them to her own distorted body. Of course, Dex 13, saving throw, or be grappled by Jamu. The damage is pretty much just flat damage. And now lastly, Offering of Extreme Extracted Immortality. It can only be done, of course, upon reaching the 4th turn, and you can either choose to make, naturally, 4 attacks, or just the Offering of Extreme Extracted Immortality. You get one or the other, same as the first phase. What it does, she violently slams her body and screeches, distorting further and releasing deadly poisons and toxins from her body into the air. Every target must first make a Dex 15 or be knocked prone, unless in mid-air or riding another creature. Then a Con DC 20 and subjected to the poison condition. Initial 9 damage, and then 9 necrotic damage, as well as 9 poison damage from every consecutive turn, and you must be healed through a spell, such as Lesser Restoration, or drink a potion or healing elixir to cure the poison condition. And this condition cannot be cured with a long rest or subsequent con saving throw. You have to expend and I flavor it as a bonus action to drink a potion or cast a spell like this. You must expend a bonus action to do this. Now, of course, up to DM discretion, and if you succeed the con saving throw, you take half damage, so instead of 18, you take 9 flat. Now, bonus actions. Xianghuan Worm, Whispers of the Will of Hong Yuan. She gains vulnerability to all forms of damage until the beginning of her next turn. However, she adds an additional plus 5 to hit with all attacks of this turn. In addition, Precious Jade Cradle 2 a day. Jamu wraps one of her arms, whilst in the form of the Heisho Su's Serpent Branch, around an enemy within 30 feet, incapacitating them, as a cradle made from her distorted flesh covers them. The cradle has an AC of 13 and 50 hit points. The target must make a strength saving throw DC 21 or be grappled and incapacitated, and may remake the saving throw each turn until they are freed from the inside or outside. Only one cradle may be present at a time. This is mirroring the one where she kind of wraps Jia Yu, also known as Hong Lu, in the fight. Now, of course, reactions, phase 2, meaningless struggle. Remember, the worm can make, pretty much bonus actions if this is available. The palanquin atop Jamu, which is normally exposed, fully covered up by her AC is lowered by 5, meaning it goes from 19 to 14. And until the beginning of her next turn, in turn, the worm is unable to take any damage, even though they travel through surfaces, unless through psychic damage or teleportation magic. Yes, she blocks even lightning bolt, which goes through the enemies, or chain lightning. She just fully blocks it with her body. It is a little bit of homebrew, of course, but psychic damage will still damage the worm and kill it. Now, legendary actions. Upon activating her mythical trait, she gains access to legendary actions, with 3 that she can take below. She may only take 1 per, after enemy turn, but she regains all the points at the start of her next turn. 2 of them are important, 1 of them is extremely important. Please watch me, O Xiangren. Now, Jia Mu either makes an additional supernatural strength, chaos, and spirits attack, or still you can do nothing attack. It cannot proc, of course, the additional attack. Remember, this is once per turn. You can do the attack again without spending an attack action. Moving back down to legendary actions, infinitely bequeathing will of Hongren. Now, Jamu chooses a target among the enemies and has the worm whisper ancient curses to them. Until the start of Jamu's next turn, she halves all incoming damage from that chosen target. And lastly, please give me Shi Mi in your strength. It costs all her legendary actions and sacrifices her ability to make further legendary actions. However, she gains the ability to utilize all actions, bonus actions, and reactions from both Phase 1 and Phase 2. Basically, everything's activated. She's going all out, but losing the ability to legendary actions. Additionally, she can make 4 attack actions per turn, with the exception of the completed Heishan Bolus Hun and offering extracted immortality. They take up the final 3 actions of a turn. Meaning, theoretically, you could go, oh, okay, I'm going to do Supernatural Strength, Chaos, and Spirits, Yin Si Yo, and then redo it again, so 2 times, without expending an attack action. And then right after that, you can go right back and then do the completed Heishan Bolus Hun, and then knock everyone in a cone in front of you prone. That's what you can do. Now, of course, after that, then you can do your bonus actions, etc., and you've already seen the mythical actions. Here's a description of her. Older woman of short stature with pale skin, and of course, her mutated body in her monster form and the distorted form. She's quadrupedal. She's basically an animal. She is not human-like, and she is distorted, naturally. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I've gone through quite a bit today, so I'm going to give you a quick long story short. Pretty much it's going to be like a TLDR, ultimately this and that, this and that. So, Jamu, at the end of the day, big boss monster, 100 hit points total, so 1,200. 2 modes, legendary and mythical creature with legendary resistances, 2 phases, each phase within each respective area that describes the monster. There is 1 set of actions and then another set of actions. 1 set of bonus actions, another set of bonus actions. Same thing with reactions. Legendary actions can only be used after mythical has procced. After getting all her hit points down, she goes up again with a newer hit pool. In addition to this, if the worm dies, then she sacrifices all of her actions. She is quite the monster, and I believe a level 17 4 players build. If you want to fight her with level 17, feel free and go for it. All the DMs out there, enjoy yourselves and beat your players up. If you're going lower level, I suggest you only fight with her first phase. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, this one took so much longer than usual. I am so sorry. This one's like 20 minutes now? So, yeah. Jamu is quite the boss, but I really do like her, and she is a really fun fight. I really like Kanto 8, and I really like Honglu. He's probably one of my new favorite characters. Dawn is still on top. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a good one. Goodbye, and good night.